Have you ever felt completely misunderstood, completely alone, feeling like nobody is on your side? This video is going to be for the girls and the guys who have felt completely misunderstood, no one has their back, nobody gets them, and how you are going to learn about self-trust and believing in yourself to level up and go to the next chapter. If you don't know me, guys, my name is Neethi. I am your older sister, everything self-development, dating, attachment, glowing up. I post twice a week on this channel. We are just here to better ourselves. So I wanted to jump right into this video because I feel like I have a very personal story and like a revelation that has just happened to me about like believing in yourself and trusting in yourself. And I just went through something where I really felt like I had nobody on my side. Nobody saw the vision. I had to take really big risk and I really had to learn to completely trust myself and believe in myself at a time that was insanely scary. And the reason why I want to make this video is because I want to make this video to myself and to you guys. If you are in a position where you want to try something new, maybe you want to come out, I don't know, maybe you want to like start doing something, maybe you want to date a person, maybe you just want to literally start being who you are authentically and you feel like you can't, you feel like you're taking a risk, you feel like maybe moving across this country, maybe moving countries, like anything where you don't feel like you have support, you don't feel like you're backed, but there's something in you that wants to do something. And I really want to give you the motivation and the tips that are going to help you navigate this. As you guys know, I'm a full-time content creator. Thank God. This happened to me a couple months ago. If you've been following me, you know my journey. And being an influencer is, especially in a brown household, my parents are engineers. It's not a very typical career path. It's definitely not really an accepted career path. I think that I'm really outspoken. I share a lot about my life. And like, although what I'm doing is helping people, I don't think my parents really understood like how me being a TikToker, a YouTuber is going to be paying my bills. And so I really started to manifest, you know, over the years. I started to understand my niche. I started to keep posting every day. I started to like fall in love with it. I started to understand it more. I started to understand how to make money, and I really started to manifest like I want to be a full-time content creator. And you know, I was getting a little defeated, like, you know, it's not happening money-wise yet. And just like this, for me manifesting and really honing in on it, I actually lost my job. And it's crazy because when I look back, that was like the most miserable time. I felt alone. I'm like, where am I getting money from? I have a condo to pay for. I don't want to have to move home. You know, now I'm really freaking out and like, you know, I always wanted to do content. And so I made a big decision in my life to take a risk in that moment. You know, my parents told me to go get another job. They started sending me jobs. And I said, you know what? I just want to actually try out doing content full time. And it's insane because I took a really big risk on myself in that moment. Financially, everything was on me because I live on my own. But not even that. I think what was heavier was emotionally, my parents were just not on board with it. They said, like, you're not cut out. Give me a business plan, my dad said, because there's no way you're making money in this, and it needs to be $10,000, $20,000 a month, or I'm not accepting it. Because even me, I wasn't 100% sure if this is gonna work. I did not know if I was gonna be able to make a full-time income from content. You know, I just lost my job. I do have bills to pay. It's not like I have 6 months where I can sit around with no income. And I decided to take a bet on myself in that moment and take a risk. And here I am. I think it's been 4 or 5 months making 3 times what I made for my job, believing in myself, and I'm on the other side. So we're gonna go through the process of this. Chapter number 1 is gonna be the challenge. A lot of us have self-doubt. I think when I look back to the moment where I had decided I wanted to do content full time, but I had no support and really had no evidence that I'd be making money because I wasn't making that kind of money before, there's a lot of self-doubt. And I think that part of that is us, and I think that part of that is our outside voices. It's our parents, it's our friends, it's our family, it's society, it's what other people have told us. And so you might have something in your life that you have a gut feeling or you have some sort of urge to like pursue something, be with somebody, move, go to school somewhere, but you have a lot of voices in your head telling you, no, it doesn't make sense, maybe that's not okay, that's unrealistic, you can't do that, you're not cut out for it, it's not a smart decision, what will people say? And what I really want you to understand is that there is self-doubt and then there is doubt that is put in our heads from other people. And there's a really big difference between that. And that is, I think, becoming really clear on like where your own doubts are and where doubts that are from other people are is going to really help you kind of separate. You might have a list of 10 doubts, but I think when you actually sit down and look at it, maybe 2 of them are your own doubts and 8 of them are what other people have put in your head. It's not all self-doubt, you know? So when you think about your situation, I want you to actually think like, Is this self-doubt? Or is this other people putting something in my head? There was a point though, like even with if you quiet the outside voices, that I felt like, maybe I'm not capable with only 24K followers to become a full-time content creator. Like I don't have millions of followers. Where is the money coming from? I have not been able to make a full-time income or even what I make from my job from content yet. And I do remember like the self-doubt was really big in a moment where you are anxious and you're vulnerable and you're low and you're making a big life decision. Your mind is spiraling. Everything's on you. You don't want to fail. You're scared, and it's a lot. And I want to normalize that. What you are feeling right now in any situation where maybe you don't have support and it's just kind of like on you, like it's normal to have doubts. In any life change, in any circumstance, just in general in life, like anything being on you and not having backing is normal. And getting anxious about that is normal. This kind of takes me to chapter number 3, which is choosing self-trust. I truly think that there comes a point in everybody's life, and it could be in a different area of life. It could be in romantic, career, it could be in family, it could be in friendships, it could be in anything, where you are going to be tested by the universe in how much you believe in yourself. I was raised really close to my parents, and I think even culturally sometimes, like we are raised to put our parents' opinion really high up. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think like if you're closer with your parents or certain societies, like you're really taught to value their opinion, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes there is a lack of self-trust that we have. Self-trust is like believing in myself, believing in yourself. Listen to your gut, your own intuition, your own thoughts when nobody else is supporting you. And I think in every part, in life, I think we do get tested on this. I think that this was my test when I had literally no support from my family, from people. In fact, they're probably adding to the stress. Forget about not supporting. I had to lean into me and my gut and me as an independent human being. Listen, babies, we come on this earth alone, we die alone. Everyone says that to some degree. Like you will have to have autonomy over your own decisions in your own life at some point. I learned that the only way to trust myself in situations that are scary, in content, in life, relationships, and just like day-to-day navigating things is to listen to myself when things feel scary. If I even go a layer deeper than that and I try to explain to you guys like exactly what I did in order to make that decision when I was scared, it was like praying and listening to that strong intuition gut feeling that kept pushing me. When I would think about, should I do content? Yeah, I had a lot of fears, money this, money that. And I could tell myself, okay, I'll do it for 2-3 months. Like I have savings, and like if it doesn't work, I'll get a job. But the reason why I felt confident, even though like I still had the fears, was because I knew that my gut was pushing me to do something. I knew that when I would doubt myself, I would get signs from the universe and God. I'd go into the streets and literally someone would grab me and be like, please don't stop doing what you're doing. You're gonna make it big one day. And that is, I think, what really allowed me to make that decision when I didn't have the support. You are always gonna have to take a risk in life and listen to yourself at some point. And what's gonna help you is having a strong backing from yourself. If you are not having that intuition feeling or that strong, like, I believe in myself feeling, that is where you're gonna waver, and the opinions of other people are gonna maybe stop you. That doesn't mean that you won't have doubts and you won't have fears. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. I still had doubts and I still had fears. Every time I doubted myself, every time a parent told me you're not doing it right, this, that, I had to lean into like that deep feeling of intuition in my gut and in myself and in God instilling it in me that I am doing the right thing in this moment. And that is what I really think you guys have to lean into and quiet everything else in order to get through this. This kind of takes me to chapter number 4, which is like the role of discomfort. So as I said, the discomfort is completely normal. And any risk and any decision in life and any change and anything, you're always gonna have discomfort, okay? Just because you have discomfort does not mean that it's failure. I think that when we get this like uneasy, oh, we're not getting supported by our parents, people don't see the vision, people don't like what I'm doing, society's gonna talk, oh, even me, I don't know, is this the right thing? That discomfort feeling doesn't mean that it's failure. That feeling is doubts in your mind. That's your protective mechanisms. That's you having to grow and overcome those things. It's always going to be there. It doesn't mean that that's the wrong thing to do. It's a sign that you are actually expanding. It's a sign that you are able to maybe look beyond some of the doubts. Maybe you're even learning to differentiate between other people's doubts in your head and your own. Chapter number 5 is going to be a little bit about growth and recognition. And listen, we all want support from our parents. Life would be a lot easier if our parents, family, our friends, whoever supported us, society, and everything that we wanted to do. Our sexuality, maybe who we marry, maybe how we live life, whatever. But it's just not always going to be that way. And I think I learned to accept that there's always going to be a little part of me that wants acceptance from my parents. There might be always a little part of you that wants acceptance from your friends. Maybe you put up a boundary and they don't don't like it. It's always going to be there. Even now that I'm able to make much more money from content, my parents maybe see the impact I'm having on people, and they still sometimes don't choose to see it. You know what I mean? Or they'll be like, oh, it's only been a couple months. Maybe after 1 year, they'll be like, oh, it's only been a year. Like, you know, what if TikTok gets banned? They always say things like that. And sometimes we're just like gonna have to accept that you're not always gonna get that validation from them. Even when you are doing okay, they might still not give it to you. And that is where you have to come in, and you have to love what you're doing, and you have to be proud of yourself, and you have to have followed your gut and what you believed in. Do you know what I mean? I am all for other people can give me their opinions, parents, elders, society, friends, like everybody's opinion matters, but at the end of the day, you are living your life. My parents, you know, somewhat, you know, are quiet now, like they don't give me the doubts, they don't say anything to me, but I had to grow myself in order to get here. If I didn't choose to believe in me and do what I wanted to do, I would not be sitting here. Do you know what I mean? And that's crazy to me because they did not support me, and now they're quiet and they don't say anything. If I didn't believe in me, I would never have been able to become a full-time content creator. I would have probably been in a job that I'm doing for my parents and been freaking miserable. I would not have, I've grown in so many ways, like not even in like understanding myself and like believing in myself now, but I've grown in like ways that are crazy, like understanding businesses, meeting people, expanding my mind, understanding so many million things that I just like know that God wanted me to know. And if I had listened to the doubts and listened to the people who didn't support me and allowed that to stop me from even just trying, I would never be sitting here. You need to trust yourself first. Yes, your parents, your friends, your family, society might know better, your teachers, like, to some degree. Take everything with a grain of salt. And I'm not here to say that they're harming you even. Sometimes people give advice that's not coming from a bad place. There will come a time in your life when you need to learn in a certain decision that you and your opinion, what you think, your happiness, what you are good at, you know best, not anybody else. And the validation will come when you succeed. They always say people love to support you and come back and praise you when you're at the top. But what about when I was at the bottom and no one wanted to, you know, lend me money? No one wanted to, I didn't need lended money, but like, that's an example of people. Or like, nobody wanted to like and comment on my posts. Nobody wanted to give me brand deals. No brand saw my value. What about when I couldn't pay my bills 1 month? You know what I mean? Where were you then? So the validation will come. If you're trusting your gut, you are literally, imagine yourself at the other side of this mountain. Right now you're on this side. When you're all the way down at the end of the mountain, when you're done the marathon, everyone's clapping. What about when you were freaking practicing 500 times a day for the past 6 months? 500 times a day is crazy. What about when you were practicing every day for the marathon for 6 months? Where was everybody then supporting you? But when you do it, they're always clapping. And so that's really something, like, people preach that, but I'm telling you from like lived experience, I experienced that, and I think that you will experience that too. Even like I know somebody whose parents like didn't support their marriage. I think they had an interracial marriage maybe 20 years ago. Now they're like, oh my God, you guys are the cutest. I love my son-in-law. They have kids who are mixed and they're like the light of their life. People come around, and it's sad to think that like, wow, okay, they came around, but like, what if I had let other people's doubt stop me? Isn't that crazy? So this takes me to chapter number 6, which is like, I want to give you guys a little act of self-trust that you can kind of do to kind of like get you out of that energy of feeling like I'm not supported and like, what do I do? And like, I don't know where this self-trust is coming from because I don't have it yet. I want you to write down one decision or desire that you have been doubting. Listen, it could literally be as small as like a dress you want to buy that maybe you think people will find ugly. It could be a move. It could be a relationship. It could be dating somebody that maybe you feel like other people won't approve of. It could be a career choice like me. It could be a way of living. It could be a diet. It could literally be big or small in your life. Write it down in your journal. And I want you to take one step towards it today. For me, that could have been making a TikTok. My parents don't see the value in it, but you know what? I'm still gonna do it. That could be, you know what? I'm gonna buy a piece of, I really like colorful clothing, but you know, everyone in my school's gonna judge me for wearing a bright color. I'm gonna buy a kind of half bright piece of clothing and wear it to school. I am going to just research or talk to somebody who lives in that new city that I've been thinking to move to. Do one step for yourself that is bringing yourself awareness, giving yourself evidence, making yourself a little bit more confident, or at least just understand the decision. I'm not telling you to make a decision right or wrong like right now. I think sometimes life will throw you into a situation when you will have to make a decision if you're not willing to do it. It's like literally what happened to me. Like, I had to lose my job and then I was forced to kind of make the decision. Otherwise, I wasn't making it. But write down one desire or goal that you have, or like something that you want to do that you're doubting yourself a lot. And one, I want you to also, with those, after you take a step, I want you to dive into the doubts. I want you to understand which ones of those doubts are yours and which ones of those doubts are from society or from other people. And then I would just hone in on the doubts that are coming from within you. And listen, there will be doubts that are coming from within you. I had a really realistic doubt of like, how the fuck am I paying my bills? That's a real doubt. And that's coming from other people, but it's also coming from me. But you will notice that there is probably a lot less doubts that are coming from within you rather than outside. And I think that just makes the situation look less scary. And that takes me to close, but I want you to know that your path is yours, your life path is yours. You are in charge of your own happiness and everything that you want out of life. At the end of the day, you are going to be the one living your life, and if you didn't get everything you wanted out of life, that's on you. That's not on blaming society, your aunts, your uncles, your friends, your siblings, your parents. When I'm 50 years old and I'm doing jobs that I hate doing and I never pursued being a content creator in my 20s, listen, my parents are still happy living their best life. It's me who's going to be miserable every single day. But you have to understand that you are in charge of your own happiness in your own life. And growth happens, I think, when you commit to yourself first. You understand yourself first, you follow your gut. You know, God doesn't put things in your head for no reason. I always say that. If this video resonated with you, please comment something that you have been maybe wanting to do that you've been too scared to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. I also post on TikTok and Instagram shorter form content, lifestyle content, similar content to this. I also host events called Girls IRL, which are for South Asian girls in the GTA. We have like these friendship nights. I do a little confidence panel and we just meet other minded girls. It's super, super fun. They're themed. You can look at that in the description. And I think that is it for today. I will see you in the next video. Bye.